yeah, thank you very much for spending your evening here today. I know some of you are out and all, so don't worry. This session doesn't really need much participation, although hopefully I try to make it as engaging as possible, right? So yeah, tonight's session is about NFT, and one of my inspiration for starting this is that doing this workshop. I actually did one last week on Thursday, okay, and I wanted to do it again because I actually wanted to make this session more focused on more targeted towards business owners or people who eventually really want to incorporate NFTs into what they're doing. Because last week's was more like friends and just people around my age group. Yeah. So this week, I think some of you are planning to launch your own NFTs, or you're probably involved in the Web3 space. So hopefully, this NFT workshop might, value add to you a bit. Some of you here, I think you're already quite zai lah. So if there's any area that I'm lacking in, feel free to add in, right? It's more of a peer-to-peer sharing. So personally for me, I delved into the NFT space around 4 to 5 months ago. Yeah, September period last year, correct. So I'm more towards the business use case of NFTs. Yeah, so I don't really do the tradings and the flipping of NFTs, which I know most people are doing right now, right? For that portion, I'm playing around a bit with Vee, but as compared to most people who are very hardcore in the area, not so much. Again, I'm more towards the business aspect, which I think it's be more relevant to more people. Okay, so yeah, so personally for me, I started crypto blockchain journey around late 2017 when I first came into cryptos then. Yeah, but I wouldn't consider myself an expert. Okay, so NFTs for me was throughout the past few years. Definitely, there were more friends or people that I know that they progress on to become blockchain experts, crypto experts. Right, so NFT for me was just like a 缘分 kind of thing, like a fate kind of thing, where I chanced upon it. I went down the rabbit hole and I find I grasped this technology quite fast, and I kind of understood how it works. I observed the consumer behavior around it, and I found that and of course I follow so-called gurus in the space, right, like Gary Vee, and what they said really resonated with me. So I thought that I want to do this workshop because as I shared this topic to some friends, they asked me, hey, what's this all about? So to me, it's like efficiency. Instead of me repeating myself multiple times, I just do like 1 or 2 workshops, then document it, right? Record it, and then probably just upload it on YouTube. So in the future, any friends who ask me, I just link them to the YouTube link, right? Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to cover. Okay, but before we go into the session proper, right, just want to understand the current state of knowledge with regards to NFTs in the room, okay? So just do a quick poll, right? So if you are very familiar with NFTs to the extent that given the right resources, like whether is it connections or money, you can actually start your own NFT project, right? Whether on a personal level or on a bigger scale, just put a 10, just key in a 10 in the chat box if you are very familiar to the point that you can almost start, okay? If you are 50-50, you buy some NFTs, but beyond the fact that you can flip money with it, you don't really know much else about it, put a 50, okay? Type in the chat box, we just for me to understand a bit about the current state of things amongst everyone. Okay, and if you are totally clueless about NFTs, and you just think that you're just buying the JPEGs and all, yeah, you just put 100 again in the chat box. You just want to have a feel of what the room is like. Okay, I know some people who are putting 50, right? They're probably at the number 10 stage. Okay, but no worries. Anyway, I reverse the number. So those who don't know anything, I put 100 because I think if we put 0, right, it might be subconsciously a bit demoralizing. Yeah, so I just put 100, right? Because sometimes, not being a blank sheet of paper, not knowing anything can actually be an advantage because you might see perspectives that others don't see. Okay, kind of just like that's how usually things work. Okay, no worries. Correct. So one of my motivations for NFT also is that I strongly believe it's going to be a part of our everyday lives. Okay, and I feel that, as a friend, I still take this as a friend-to-friend session. For those of us who know this space early and we get into it early, we can have the first movers advantage. And this first movers advantage can be very advantageous for our pockets and even for our future. Okay, because in that past 4 to 5 months, when I was delving into NFTs and I kind of know a bit, when I spoke to some of my friends who are in the blockchain crypto scene, they were like, what's this thing? Yeah, I've heard of it, but how does it work in terms of the business model wise? So they even wanted to engage me as a consultant, but of course I rejected them because to me it's I'm only that young in the space, although I know more than you, but I don't want to commit to the aspect. But from the experience, I kind of thought to myself, wow, although I'm not as pro as them in crypto, it's kind of like a senior technology. But the fact that NFT is like something new and I'm like earlier than them in the space, I can get to be on so-called the same level as them. Yeah, so I think that's the beauty about new technologies. You can really disrupt the traditional so-called big players and just carve out something on your own. Okay, great. I think today's room quite savvy because most of you are 50 and also I believe, some of you all play with NFTs and all. Okay, that's great. So today is what we're going to cover. Okay, let me just share a bit. So three main objectives. Okay, first is understanding blockchain technology, right? Because I think to fully appreciate how NFTs work and its benefit, okay, and how it can apply to our everyday lives, we got to understand like how blockchain works. Okay, then we'll go into NFTs as a particular use case of blockchain, and then subsequently we'll go into hi Bernard. Yeah, then we just started. Okay, then we'll go into the different use cases of NFTs, right? Mainly games, Metaverse, the concept of social currency, and lastly, how it can be applied to traditional businesses. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, let's just go into the session, which is understanding blockchain. Okay, some of you are IT people here, so if there are some, I try to explain this in a very layman term. So if there's some areas that is, technically the nuances are not so correct, and just forgive me, but I think I roughly grasp it. Okay, so another poll, those of you who understand a lot about blockchain, like you're very familiar with blockchain, how it works, key in a 1. Okay, if you are not so familiar, or like, it's fuzzy in your head, just put a 0 in the chat box. 1, okay, great. Blockchain, all right. Okay, I guess most of you are pretty familiar with blockchain. Okay, but let me just run through it because I'll share in a way that is contextual to NFTs, right? So, as you know, blockchain is basically a decentralized, distributed ledger technology. Okay, so the main difference is that functionally, it's a decentralized technology, whereas the current state of doing things are mainly centralized. So let's say, for example, there's a particular transaction. Okay, let's say Donovan buys a new house, right? So this particular transaction, traditionally, you sign a contract with the lawyer, it goes through the housing board whatsoever. So these are centralized parties. Okay, so in a hypothetical situation, the lawyer, of course it doesn't happen in real life, I don't think so, at least not in Singapore, they could actually corrupt certain terms in your contract without you knowing. 10 years later, maybe when you want to sell the house, this term, when it's edited, it actually affects you, but you kind of forgot what you signed previously. Okay, this could always happen. Of course, maybe not in the purchasing of house context, but in other contexts. Okay, because as centralized parties, they hold all the power, everything is congested, and they can be prone to corruption, right? So this was what happened to the 2008 financial crisis. Lehman Brothers, the US government, they kind of like laxed the rules for home owning, wanted to make things easier for people to buy a home. So end up, the financial institutions like Lehman Brothers, because banks make money from loans, right? One of it. Okay, so the more loans they extend out to people, the more money they actually make. So in Lehman Brothers context, they offered a lot of these mortgages to people who fundamentally couldn't pay back these mortgages, right? So eventually, as things grew bigger, the bubble burst, and that's it. Okay, give me a second. Let me disable the waiting room so that in case when I'm chatting, some people, okay, got it. Yeah, so that's an example of centralized. So because, they are central party, they hold the power. So once they get greedy, powerful, and corrupt, such disasters can always happen. Which was why Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous guy, created blockchain as a safer alternative to this prone to corruption institution. Okay, so in this particular case of the property transaction, back to it again, imagine instead of just one lawyer vetting through the contract, okay, what if there was a network of like 100 lawyers who actually witness you sign that particular contract to say that, this home belongs to you with this particular set of terms, and all of them has a copy of this contract. Okay, so this time, if one lawyer want to play you out, he cannot really do so, because if he edits it, the other 99 lawyers have their original piece of contract. Okay, so you have to have like probably 60 of the lawyers having like the contract written differently, and then 40, the minority, and then people say that, okay, the majority wins, kind of like democracy. Okay, so that's essentially the blockchain. Of course, in blockchain world, is not actual human beings, but computers. So computers, the idea is that it's logical, you just program it, it's just code mathematics, don't have all these, emotions or like human greed whatsoever. So it'll just function based on the rules that you encode it in with, okay? So another example is, for example, Bitcoin, okay? So you transfer money via the bank. The bank is a central party that is verifying the transaction and safekeeping the money. Single point of failure, right? It's like you hold all the money in your house. If a burglar comes in, then that's it, you're gone. Right? So likewise for the bank, that's why they hire a lot of software engineers, right, to protect the infrastructure. So in this case, instead of like a central party verifying it, it's multiple computers that is verifying the transaction. Okay, so in Bitcoin's case, these computers, individual computers, okay, the proper term is called nodes, right? Sorry, I got distracted again. The proper term is called nodes, N-O-D-E-S. Okay, so in Bitcoin's case, these nodes are the mining machines. So if you heard of people mining Bitcoin, they buy this like Wi-Fi looking router or this like, projector looking kind of machine, and then you just plug into the electricity and it runs and it kind of earns them passive Bitcoin. That is the mining machine. This mining machine serves as the nodes. Okay, so every time there's a transaction, let's say I transfer Mahathir 1 Bitcoin. Okay, this whole entire network of mining rigs, they will actually rush to verify this transaction. And the first one to do so actually earns that Bitcoin. Okay, that's how the mining rig actually earns them passive Bitcoin. Okay, of course, environmental concerns aside, this is how the thing works. Okay, and of course, whichever mining rig verifies that transaction, okay, this particular transaction information is put on the blockchain. So every one of the mining rigs have a copy. Yeah. So in order to successfully accomplish a hack or a fraud, you need to alter the details of more than half of this mining rigs machine. Very much like democracy, majority wins. Okay, so once this verification is done, that's not all. What happens is that this information essentially becomes a block. Okay, that's why you can understand blockchain from these two words, block and chain. Okay, the information becomes a block. Okay, so let's say in this particular second, Donovan transacted that property. Okay, this information becomes a block. Okay, let's say the next second I transferred Mahathir 1 Ethereum. Okay, assuming all this transaction happens on Ethereum blockchain. Okay, second one, Donovan buys a property. Second two, I transfer Mahathir 1 Ethereum. Okay, so the next transaction will be connected, okay, to the first one. It's like one after the other. Okay, so think of it as like Lego blocks. Lego blocks, there's like a pack at the front, the part that's protruding out, and there's like a hole at the back. Okay, so imagine the first information, Donovan buying that property. Okay, it's one block, it's one Lego block, and there's a hole behind it. Okay, the next transaction, me transferring Mahathir 1 Ethereum, is the next block. Okay, so let's say it's a square hole. It's a square hole. The second block is a square pack, so it fits nicely. Okay, the third transaction, maybe maybe I send Joseph one of my NFTs. Okay, it's added, and then maybe the second block at the back of it, the hole is circle. And then the third block, which is a transaction between me and Joseph, the pack is round. Okay, so it fits all together nicely. Okay, and goes on and on and on. So that's why it's a blockchain. Okay, so what happens is that if someone, okay, let's say someone wants to alter Don's property transaction details. Okay, he hacks into this block and alters the information. What happens is that, imagine, right, in this Lego example, the square hole changes from a square hole to a triangle hole. So the block after that, initially the pack is a circle, right? Then now it's a triangle hole, so it cannot fit. So you have to change the information here to make it such that the pack becomes triangular. But once you change this over here, the hole changes shape again, and then you have to change the third one and the fourth one, the fifth one, all the way until the latest transaction. Okay, so imagine for you to accomplish this fraud, you have to change the entire information, from the current block, if I understand it correctly, to the block where the information is processed, okay, or whatever the sequence is, and you have to do it for every single node over here. Theoretically, this is possible, okay, but financially so far it is not so feasible, right? But one thing to note is that outside of this entire NFT workshop context, watch out for quantum computing, okay, because the reason why the current computers can't hack into such a system because it's too long or whatever, it costs a lot of computing power. But with quantum computers, because they can solve equations like so damn quickly, right? They can potentially break any single blockchain currently. Yeah. So if one fine day there's some company that creates like a blockchain that runs on the quantum computing, okay, you know you got to invest in it. Correct? Yeah, so that's the future, I believe. Okay, so back to over here. What this creates, right, is that it creates a very solid timestamp. Okay, because the first event that happened in this particular first second, okay, let's say for example 8 o'clock on a sharp, 8 o'clock sharp on 6th of January 2022, Dawn transacted this property deal. This event was documented on blockchain and verified by this network of computers. Everyone witnessed the transaction, so-called witness. Okay. The next second, I transfer my idea 1 Ethereum. Okay. Timestamp. Okay. 8 o'clock and 1 second, the next transaction goes up on the blockchain, seen by everyone. Okay. So that's why it's a very solid proof of timestamping. Okay. So another example that you might have heard is application to like the meat industry or the agriculture industry. Oh, okay, this is the source of the meat. Okay, the pig is I know some of you don't like pigs, but this pig is groomed in this particular farm in, I don't know, New Jersey, for example. Okay, just a random story. All right, so this information documented on the blockchain. When this pig dies, okay, it's transported to this factory. Second block in information, verified by everyone. Okay, then this pig is skinned and then so on and so forth. So all these are documented. So it's timestamped. So you can check through the entire history where your meat came from. And you know that this whole entire process is verified. Okay, so of course we know that blockchain is very powerful, can be applied to voting, can be applied to almost any single industry, right? Okay, so far any questions? Okay, right? Not going too fast, right? Is my speed okay? Do an emoji like that or like that, okay, just so that I know that okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So the main benefits of blockchain is that it's more secure. Okay, because as you know, this whole entire system, yeah, I think the way I explained it, you know that it's very secure, right? Secondly, it's more cost efficient because you essentially get rid of the middleman. Okay, you essentially get rid of the middleman. So, like in the lawyer example, one lawyer has that particular information, he has to process it. Okay, but this time every single network has that happens. Okay, so every single block has the same information. Okay, so no one single block is unique. So essentially you can do away with a middleman. And once you do away with a middleman, you know, all the bureaucracy, the inefficiencies that comes along with it just disappears. Okay, one example is remittance of money. Okay, today, you know, a Filipino domestic helper in Singapore wants to transfer money back to their home. Okay, they have to go through the remittance company. There's a bottleneck, they take long, they take like 2 weeks, and then they add a transaction fee. Because when a lot of people want to remit money, they don't have enough manpower to prioritize, for example. But imagine it's a blockchain. Anyone who's free just verifies the transaction and then everyone just has a copy of it. So you remove this inefficiency. So now maybe instead of transferring SGD, they have to convert to like pesos, you know, and then it takes 2 weeks plus like 7% charge. Oh, I just transfer Bitcoin. It takes like, I don't know, 1 minute or like a few seconds and then no charges. Okay, so that is the benefit, more cost efficient. And of course, this whole entire timestamp concept, it makes things more traceable and transparent. Okay, so in the blockchain, everything is transparent, all these movements, right? Okay, so this is the part about blockchain. So what are non-fungible tokens? Okay, so we know that cryptocurrencies, right, are basically like a currency that runs on that blockchain system. Okay, so think of non-fungible tokens as a crypto that only has 1 unit supply. So you know Bitcoin has like 21 million unit of supplies. Okay, so if you have 1 Bitcoin, okay, let's say Shending has 1 Bitcoin, I have 1 Bitcoin. We swap with one another, it's essentially the same thing. Okay, but imagine non-fungible tokens, right? It's like a Bitcoin whereby there's only 1 unit in supply. So it's one and only is unique. Okay, and then there's like another so-called Ethereum, there's only 1 unit in supply. So if me and Shending swap these 2 tokens, it's not the same thing. Okay, you get it? There's a unique digital signature and all that. Okay, so when people are buying the NFTs, right, they are not buying the JPEG. They are buying the token that represents the JPEG. Okay, but this token can represent anything, literally anything. If today you have a favorite cap, just take a picture of a cap and then you create a token that represents your cap. Okay, that's essentially how it works. So the power of NFTs, right, is that it's a way to verify ownership. Okay, it's a more concrete way to verify ownership. Okay, because why? Let's say in that literal cap example, okay, we don't use cap, we use the example of a painting, right? Let's say Picasso painting. Okay, Picasso drew something, right? But with modern day technology, you can replicate the same exact painting to multiple copies. So how do you know which is the real one? So probably the original Picasso painting has I don't know, some certain invisible ink or signature that you have to use some special powder and then you see, okay, for example, some unique signature. Then the other paintings, although it looks exactly the same, maybe even the same quality, there isn't that interesting signature. Then you know, okay, this is the real one, right? So instead of a physical way of verification like now, okay, or in terms of the contract, imagine now it's an NFT. Because why? Let's say this Picasso painting, I create a token on the blockchain, I create an NFT on the blockchain at this particular time, and it's witnessed by every single of this network of computers, verified by them, okay, at this particular time. So this token represents the real Picasso painting. So whoever owns this token owns the Picasso painting, okay? So if someone down the road replicates the same exact physical Picasso painting and creates another token on the blockchain to represent it, it doesn't matter because why? That token is created definitely on a later date, right? And this event or this second token, this replica token being created is witnessed by everyone. So everyone knows that the transaction happened at this particular time, this particular date is a real one. Okay, so it's a very foolproof way to verify ownership. Okay, so then everyone knows that if you own that token, you're the real owner of the Picasso painting. Yeah, so that's where it brings to the next part, which is essentially NFTs are just a stronger form of contract. Okay, a stronger form of contract. So in the future, every single industry or business use case or consumer use case that requires a contract, from your NTUC receipt to the movie tickets to whatever, instead of issuing that piece of paper, you can issue an NFT. Okay, because essentially NFTs are just a contract. Okay, timestamp, verified by everyone, and that's how you know that it's unique. Okay, but of course, this is the technical side of it. If you just understand the technical side of it, you won't really appreciate how NFTs work. Okay, so today we're going to talk about like the business use cases, and the most importantly, the social cultural shift in consumer behavior in this scene. Yeah, which is a very interesting part. Okay, so far, any questions with regards to this NFT portion? Okay, just this NFT portion. You can type in the chat box. Okay, if there's any point that you're not clear, in case some parts you might need some clarification before we move on to the next stage. Okay, looks like all good. Okay, no questions, right? All right. Okay, so we talk about use cases now. Okay, this is the first use case of NFTs, which is in gaming. All right, because we know that in games, like for example, MapleStory last time. Yeah, I guess most of us know MapleStory. Traditionally, how games work is that the gaming company creates a game, then as a player, you start off playing for free, and then you get addicted, you want to buy more weapons and whatever to power up your character, and then you spend money and you pay them money. That's how they earn money. Okay, then you end up in that degenerative loop, and then you just keep spending money, and then that's it. Okay, and the only way you earn money from that game is maybe when your Maple character reach a very high level and then you sell off the character. Okay, that's the only way you make money. But even then, it's through the black market. It's not official way of making money. Right? There's no official way. But when this blockchain NFT is incorporated into the games, it makes things very unique. Okay, because now let's say that particular character of yours. Okay, instead of it just being codes on the screen, now it can be represented by an NFT. So imagine the game. Okay, let's say Pokemon. Okay, Pikachu is represented by one NFT. Charizard is represented by another NFT. This particular gym, okay, is represented by another NFT. This particular, gym leader is represented by another NFT. Okay, so if you want to own any one of the characters, you can buy the NFTs. Okay, if you are the one who owns that particular character and someone else wants it, you can sell the NFT. Okay, and in this whole process, what happens is that because the game company was the one who initially created these NFTs, and because NFTs on the blockchain, right, is traceable, every single transaction, every single movement of every single transfer of hands is trackable. And because of that, this game company can actually earn a royalty from there. Okay, so one of the special, interesting business use cases for NFTs is that it actually unlocks new wealth. Okay, that means previously, this exact same thing is just a game, people are playing it, having fun. And then last time, the economic is just like that. The top earns the most, and then the people playing earn nothing. But now with NFTs, there's a new category of games, right, called play to earn games, whereby the players literally play the games, right, to earn money. Okay, and of course, I think some of you will know, that the most popular game is in the blockchain world. It's called Axie Infinity. Okay, Axie was built by a Vietnamese company. They initially wanted to develop a game to compete against Pokemon Go, right? But then they realized that they cannot beat Pokemon Go. They cannot beat Pokemon. So what they thought was that they thought of incorporating blockchain into it to add this special element. So they were very early mover in this blockchain gaming space, and so they are like a pioneer. So they are extremely huge now. Okay, and how Axie works is that it's a super simple game. In fact, it doesn't even look nice, the graphics, compared to like Mobile Legends or whatever, right? So in Axie, it's like you buy this monster egg. Okay, so imagine in real life, you buy the hen egg. Okay, use money to buy it, right? Just like Axie Infinity, you buy their token. Okay, their token is called SLP. Okay, SLP dollars, right? You buy their token and then use their token to buy like the monster egg. Okay, just like how in real life you need to have cash, then you buy the hen egg. Okay, you buy the hen. Okay, you buy the hen egg, right? And then this egg you eventually grow into you go into a monster, right? Just like in real life, this hen egg. Of course, you need to incubate and whatever. Like it goes into a chicken. Okay, and then you can eventually sell this chicken and earn money. So in Axie Infinity, same thing. You can sell this monster and you earn the money, or you have this monster, you fight with other people and I think you earn money from there as well. Okay, this one, I haven't really played the game, but I know that the gameplay for play-to-earn games is usually very simple. Yeah, so that's one interesting like business observation, which is that traditionally games are meant to be very fun. Like the most sophisticated. I mean, not say sophisticated, but the more like action-packed. More like state of the art it is. The more fun it is, more people play. But in blockchain game, it's the opposite. Because people play it for different purposes. They don't play it for the fun of it, but they play it to earn money. Yeah, so the game, very simple will do. Yeah, I don't need to be like extremely fun. As long as I everyday play, I can make like $100. Okay, it's good enough. Okay. So for Axie Infinity, their biggest audience is in Philippines. So literally the people there are like making $500. Some even making a few thousand $US a month just from playing this game. Okay. So it's literally helping them to earn a livelihood. Right. So that's the amazing thing about this blockchain gaming. Okay, so where NFTs come in as a unique ownership verification is in like everything in this virtual world is an NFT. Yeah, so that's how you identify uniquely and that it's yours and the economics happen. Okay, but most importantly, there's this shift in consumer wealth. Okay, because blockchain is added into the equation, now games, instead of just the top earning money, the players also earn the money. Okay, but the game also earns a lot of money because they issue the tokens. So when the tokens appreciate in value, because more people play the game, the owners get richer also. And of course, not forgetting, they earn a royalty every time people transact the monsters, they sell their whatever, their eggs or stuff like that. Okay, so Axie Infinity actually makes like, I think 60 million a day, something like that. Yeah, 6 million or 60 million a day. I know it's a $1 million digit. Every single day just on this transaction fee. I think they charge only like single digit transaction fee. Yeah, they earn this amount. Okay, so amazing. Right, so this is the first use case in gaming. Okay, another interesting example in the blockchain world. Okay, so one of the first business, more interesting business manifestations for NFTs is that it kind of creates new wealth for the same industry. Okay, and it's kind of like wealth distribution, so to speak. Okay, everyone earns more money, the consumers and the producers. Okay, there's another interesting behavior that can be seen in Loot project. Okay, so Loot project is black color, this black and white NFT here. Okay, in Chinese we call it 白纸黑字. That means white paper, black color ink words. But now it's the opposite. This is like 黑纸白纸. Okay, so the NFT is literally, of course, it's just design. Okay, it's actually a square thingy. Okay, let me show you guys. Share screen. Okay, this is the Loot project NFT. They have traded a total of 72,000 Ethereum. So 72,000 times 4,000, whatever the amount is. Okay, is the amount of volume that has been transacted, okay, for this Loot project NFT. And this is the NFT. Literally just words on a black background. Okay, so read the words. Pandemonium, Bender, Long Sword of Power +1, Divine Robe of Enlightenment. What does this sound like to you? Sounds like game items, right? Okay, and look, one of these thingy actually sells for like 7 Ethereum. 7 Ethereum is like 7 times 4,000, which is $28,000 for this black and white thingy. So people are puzzled, like, why in the world will people like buy this thing? Okay, actually there's 2 reasons, right? The dark side of things is that People definitely use NFTs to launder money. Okay, you can market make NFTs. Literally very simple. If you have $1 million, you create an NFT. You want your NFT to be valuable, you just buy your own NFT using one wallet, and then the money transferred to another wallet. Okay, and your NFT is being sold for $1 million. Just do that a few times between other wallets. Your NFT is like, transacted multiple times for in the $1 million range. Okay, so I spoke to some people in the NFT Web3 scene, and like one of the top NFT projects is called CryptoPunks, right? They're like the OG, the original NFTs. They actually released that CryptoPunks all for free. Okay, and then people buy it. Now it's one CryptoPunk is easily like 6 figures to 7 figures. Okay, but my friend was telling me that people use it to because it's free, and CryptoPunks wouldn't mind because hey, you buy my NFT for a few $1 million just to wash your money. I don't care, but to me it's like good marketing, So that's one aspect of NFTs that is the darker side of things, but it happens everywhere in business. Okay, so sidetrack a bit. One interesting thing about the business world, right, is that value is man-made. Okay, every single thing in this world, right, the value is man-made. Yeah, so if you understand this more abstract concept, you realize that nothing is as impressive as it seems, but yet at the same time, right, you can always create something to be worth whatever you want it to be. Okay, so we shall just leave it there for another day. So the second thing about Loop Project, right, is that this is how it works. Okay, you buy this NFT, there's different game item names. So what happens is that, okay, I buy this NFT, you buy this other NFT that has different words. You buy another NFT, you buy another NFT. So we come together as a community and we compare each other's words. Okay, this is this, you have that. And then we start to brainstorm and like conceptualize our own game. Hey, with this particular weapon name, what if we could conceptualize this character holding this? And then what if, based on this landscape name, we could come out with this particular kingdom? So this Loop project, right, is the NFT holders, the community, they conceptualize their own game. They build their own game, okay? Then eventually, of course, the vision is that you build your own game using all these weapon names, and then after that, you sell the game, okay? Or people play this game, and it becomes a hit, and the game makes money, the NFT holders gets a royalty of the game, okay? A bit abstract, but it's basically the pyramid being turned upside down. Last time, the game developers create the game, all the brains is by them. I create a game, I have to think of what game is nice, and I push out the market. If it hits off, that's great. Okay, the game kicks off well, like Mobile Legends, League of Legends, whatever. And the money comes raking in. Now is the opposite. Now is the consumers, with no guidance, creates their own game. Okay, so the consumers know what games they like, or rather it's a collective imagination, So they create like it's like co-creation, They create like the so-called, I wouldn't say perfect game, but a game that everyone agrees that it's good. So imagine all of them are gamers. Hey, I think, if you add this part, this game will be awesome. So imagine all these parts combined together, it becomes like the amazing game, okay? That the market wants to play. Then this community reaps the benefit, all right? So this is an interesting consumer behavior in NFT land and also in the blockchain and Web3 land, okay? They call it, some people call it social fi. Okay, you know DeFi, right? Decentralized finance. Okay, now people call it social finance. That means everything is all community driven. It's bottom up. Okay, so that's one of the interesting points about NFTs and this whole entire Web3 landscape. So if you are a business owner or self-employed person, you might want to just have this thought lingering in your head. How do you actually leverage on NFTs, for example, and do a co-creation kind of scheme with your community? Okay, they hold this NFT. Maybe they got some voting power. Yeah, they can suggest ideas whatsoever. They suggest ideas, they get a share in this whole pie, for example. Okay, we'll go into more of these examples later on. Okay, so this is Loop project. Yeah, it's a bit correct. Okay, all good. Okay, let me see whether there are any comments. SLP is Smooth Love Potion. Yeah, very nice name. Okay, second use case, Metaverse. In case you still don't know what's the Metaverse, first thing, go and check out Mark Zuckerberg's hour-plus long video. Okay, yeah, co-creation sounds good, exactly. We might go into the example later. Metaverse is essentially just, so imagine whatever is happening in the real world, okay, just bring it online in the virtual reality world. Okay, so let's say, for example, now, you can't travel to Malaysia. Example, okay, I know now you can, but there's restrictions, blah, 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 okay, but let's say you cannot. Okay, and then, wow, you want to go to KSL Mall. Then, but now because you cannot travel, so no choice. Okay, so what if you put on your VR glasses in the comforts of your home, your pajamas, okay, and you enter this virtual reality realm, which is basically maybe VR Gaia, VR Earth. Everything is the same, just as virtual reality. And in this virtual world, you can actually cross the borders to visit KSL Mall in the Metaverse version. Okay, and then whatever shops is in KSL Mall, now it's a digital version. You can shop there. You buy the things, and then it's like e-commerce 3.0. It gets shipped to you. Okay, so whatever is in the metaverse is going to be an NFT. Okay, because why? Firstly, your avatar. You have this particular avatar. You design it this way. I want to look this way in the metaverse. You don't want someone else to copy it, right? Or you want to make sure that this avatar is unique to me. Okay, so how do you make it unique? You attach it to an NFT. This particular 3D thingy, on the cloud, okay, it's just digits on the screen. But you verify it by pegging an NFT to it. Okay, so who owns the NFT is the only owner of this avatar. So if I own it and no one else has this NFT, yeah, the avatar is me. Okay, so anything in the metaverse will be an NFT. All right, from the virtual KSL mall, the real estate, there will be an NFT. Okay, the particular VR lamppost, okay, example, can be an NFT. All right, the I don't know, the interesting looking dog that was created in the virtual reality world can be an NFT. Okay, anything in the metaverse can be NFT. All right, so then some people might wonder, hey, how do things like virtual real estate work? Why is there economic value? Why are people buying so much into this virtual land? Okay, again, one reason might be money laundering, market making. Okay, that aside, the other example is that imagine, okay, you buy this virtual plot of land. Okay, it's like nothing. It's just like, what the heck? If you go on Decentral land, it's all like like grids and all. You just buy this plot of land for like, I don't know, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. You're like, what? I just bought this like square space on my screen. Okay, but in the future, imagine the virtual reality Earth is going to be built. Okay, let's say, I don't know, somewhere in Dubai, right? They want to build the virtual Burj Khalifa, right? And then they do their feng shui numerology, and they find that this particular coordinate, this pixel, with this longitude, latitude, the number is very good, but it's owned by you. So I want to buy it over for like $5 million. So instantly, you just sell the piece of land to them and you earn it. Okay, but why would that virtual Burj Khalifa have economic value? Because when everyone goes on the metaverse, okay, there's traffic to the virtual Burj Khalifa. When there's human traffic, what is one way to make money? Advertising. Okay? People walk into the virtual Burj Khalifa, like that MRT screen like that, they have to walk by this like VR advertisement. Then you can charge for advertisement space. Okay, so again, although it's non-tangible, but value is man-made. Okay, as long as there's human traffic, there's attention, you can create monetary value out of it, although it's literally nothing. Okay, so this will totally change your concept of money, right? And when I walk into the shop, okay, I don't know, okay, I just know that Burj Khalifa is one of the tallest buildings in the world, or I think the tallest, but I actually don't know what's inside there, okay? Or let's say the KSL Mall example, right? You go into the, I don't know, never really go KSL Mall, but yeah, some shop inside there, okay? Whatever is inside there. Yeah, okay, you walk in there, advertisements is one revenue. But let's say every single thing you buy from that particular shop in virtual KSL Mall, the landlord, the virtual landlord, earns a cut of that e-commerce transaction. That's another revenue stream. So actually the property becomes worth a lot. Okay, so it's like, everything can be reverse engineered. So for those of you who are, you're thinking, you're like, okay, this is interesting. Think of it this way. When COVID happened, a lot of traditional businesses frantically rushed towards digitizing. Oh, how to set up Facebook page, how to set up website, all that. Okay, trust me, when this Web 3.0, when this metaverse becomes more mature, they'll be doing the same for metaverse. Hey, how do I enter this VR space? How? Can you help me set up my shop inside there? Can you help me design the things inside there? Yeah, so if you offer it as a service for them, for example, then that's monetary value. Okay, so you spot it early. Yeah, use case number 2, metaverse. Okay. Any questions along the way, just feel free to put in the chat box. Right. Okay. Hope I'm not going too fast. Hope this is not too boring. Okay, next use case is what we call the social currency. Yay, thanks a lot, Alison, for the support. The enthusiasm. Who's the next comment? Mahathir also. Oh, thanks. My 2 lawyers followers. I'm just kidding. All friends, all friends. Okay, third use case is what I term as a social currency. Okay, so whether you're an artist, like you draw, you're a musician, you sing, like Alyssa, my friend over here, she's a singer, right? You can check out her TikTok. You can stalk her later on, right? Creative personalities, I don't know whether you're a comedian or whatever, okay? Or whether you're an entrepreneur, NFTs can be useful, okay? Because here's how it's going to work. Let me cite an example using some of the people in this picture, okay, which you might know, right? So Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know him, I think you'll be living on a rock. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, if you don't know him, just Google him or Instagram him. Gary VEE, VEE, Vancouver EE. Okay, he's an entrepreneur that is very prominent in social media, right? He's built his social media presence for like more than a decade. So now he's like what they call a celebrity entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur, he's a full-fledged entrepreneur, but he has a lot of social influence. People love him because he puts out a lot of positive content. Me also, I also love him. Right? I love the things that he talks about. So because he created, so the first part over here, okay, for this third use case is you leverage on social media and the internet, whereby it's borderless, okay, and you can reach anyone in the entire world to build a community, like what Gary Vee did. He builds a community of people. Okay, he brings out what he is, okay? People love him for who he is and the message he's bringing. He builds a tribe from there, okay? Of course, with this tribe, you can do a lot of things in just a conventional business context. Okay? So whatever Gary Vee sells, he sells his book, he talks about NFT, he talks about this thing, people just jump into it, okay? Because they love him, they trust him, he becomes a KOL, key opinion leader, okay? So the key is that if you are this artist, musician, creative personality, entrepreneur, or even an individual, okay, you want to leverage on this social media and this internet fact, okay? Because I always believe that internet is a new resume, okay? Like last time, the resume is a piece of paper. Internet is a new resume because through the internet, people see who you are as a person. Yeah, if they are really smart, they can guess it. But guess what? NFT is going to be the new social media, okay? So I shall just leave it at that. So yeah, you build a personal brand. You just build a community, no matter how small, who vibe with you. So like, for example, Gary Vee is extremely huge because he built over 10 years. So when he launched his NFT collection, okay, it's got Vee Friends. Let me show you. It's called Vee Friends. Vee Friends, here. Yeah, his NFT also quite sick. Total volume is 35.7K. Okay, so his NFTs are just this. Okay, you might feel, wow, this is a bit ridiculous. It's like not even nice art. Okay, the thing about NFTs is that it's not the art. Okay, it's about the functionality. So let me share with you. So, okay, first thing, for Gary Vee, right? He wants all these NFTs to have a certain, because he's a guy with a lot of values. So he wants to embody these values in his NFT characters that he feels that all human beings should have. Like for example, woke. Woke, that means you are woke, okay? Positive, porcupine. Okay? Positivity is a good value. Tidy, tidiness. Okay? What else? Yeah, arbitraging is more of a business term. Gentle, you know? So these are traits that he values and he embodies them in all these characters. Okay? So what happens is that, let me give some examples. Okay, some of them are okay, you can see from the infant names, sufficient, awesome, whatever. Okay, but he has some NFTs that are what they call access tokens. So that's another way to use it. Because you're someone with so much influence, people want to associate with Gary Vee, you see. Yeah, I want to do a podcast with Gary Vee because if I do a podcast with him, I am basically make it already. Okay, I've made it, right? So Gary Vee actually has this NFT called the Podcast Panther. So if you own the Podcast Panther, every year you can maybe do like one podcast with me. So wow, there's perceived value, you see. Yeah, the art looks like, quote unquote, not so nice. It's not like, whoa, extremely nice digital art. But because people buy it because of the utility behind it. So understand that NFT is not about the surface, it's about the value behind it. Okay? The value over here is Gary Vee is access tokens to him. Or he even has like a Hangout Hawks. I think like once a month or whatever. If you own this Hangout Hawks token, you can do a Zoom session with Gary Vee. Wow, you know how amazing that is. Yeah. Or whatever NFT is that you can share the stage with Gary Vee for like 1 hour. You know? Yeah. But all this has value because why? He has value. He has that social influence. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, whatever, you want to build that, okay, so that you have that leverage. Okay. But on top of that, you may or may not know this. If you really follow him very closely, his content, these characters has positive cultural meaning, has positive values, and eventually he wants to make a Disney out of these characters. You know, like Mickey Mouse, whatever, there's a story to it. Okay. All these characters, there's a positive intonation to it, like woke or like positive occupying value. So he wants to create, like, for example, a Disney, a storybook, or like a movie based on these characters. So imagine you hold his NFT, and in the future, he creates his own Disney story series, movie series out of these characters. So his mission, a very positive guy, he wants to change the values of humanity into these positive values. And he knows that the only way to do it is by influencing pop culture. So he wants to do it at scale with his NFT projects. Okay? So if you own his NFT, positive porcupine. Next time this porcupine, right, appears in this particular movie, I tell you what Gary Vee will do. He will definitely split a cut of this, whatever movie or storybook or comic book that this positive porcupine appears in, to the NFT holder. Yeah. So it's like, you buy now, although it looks pretty damn expensive, like 8 Ethereum, 8 times 4,000 is like 32,000. But if he ever becomes a Disney, oh, this will be like an IPO, man. Your 32,000 is easily a few $1 million. And plus, you probably get royalties from the movie every single year or whatever when he creates it. Okay? So that is one way that NFTs can be used. And this is how he's using it. Okay? So if you see him launching his NFT and then you're like, oh, what the hell is this guy doing? This is actually what he's doing. Very smart and amazing. Okay? So, okay. So in the example of an artist, right? Okay, or let's say musician, since my friend here, Alicia, is a singer, right? Same thing. Through platforms like Instagram, TikTok especially, because TikTok's organic reach is super damn high now. Yeah, it's like you can reach anyone in the whole world if your content is good. Okay, so again, consistency. Gary Vee built it for 10 years. Okay, TikTok's organic reach is temporary. Maybe 2 years from now, you just become like another Instagram and you pay ads to feature yourself to the world. But there'll definitely be another new social media platform that comes up. Okay, so if you're someone, these ideas are lingering in your head, you want to catch onto it, look out for the next social media platform, jump into it, okay? Build a community from there. Currently, it's TikTok, okay? It's nowhere near saturation, but it's like halfway mark, okay? So you want to catch on to the rest of it. So let's say Alyssa, she's a singer, she can build a community via TikTok. Okay, so let's say Alyssa, she wants to spread positive energies through her music, okay? So what happens is that some people hear her sing, they'll be like, wow, somehow when I hear your music, I just resonate with it, I just vibe with it. I want to listen to more of your music. I follow you. Okay? Do this for long enough, you build a community, you eventually start to have some form of social influence. Kind of like Gary Vee. Of course, his stage is like damn very high level, but you can be just in your own way. Of course, everything takes time, right? You build that foundation. And then one fine day, okay, so sorry, in the traditional music industry, which I just learned, I think, was it last week or last week? Yeah, when I went over for the Christmas gathering, Alyssa's Christmas gathering, I got to learn that how they make money is through like record labels. When you engage the record label to like sell your music for you, to market for you. Okay. Now with social media, you don't need this middleman. You can market yourself through social media. You remove this guy from the equation. Okay. This guy is supposed to sell your music for you. But now you sell yourself, you build a community, eventually you launch your music as NFTs. Okay? These people who love your music, they love who you stand for, just like how you love Gary Vee for what he represents and how he's like as a person. You buy into Alyssa's music NFT, for example. Okay? Because, wow, this is my vote of resonance with you. Okay? Buy your NFT. Right? So maybe this NFT, let's say Alyssa becomes a grand personality. Wow, you can have a FaceTime with her, Zoom session with her, you can share the stage with her, whatever. Okay, so all these again, the access tokens can be made. You launch, I don't know, every music you put out, you can create like one piece of NFT or a few pieces. So you document it over time. You have a collection of 10,000, 100,000, whatever. These are sold as NFTs. You earn the money you want to earn. Okay, easily a few $1 million once you reach that stage. Okay, amongst the 10,000 NFTs, maybe 5 of them has this particular access. 10 of them has a particular unique benefit. 50 of them has another benefit, okay? So maybe another way is that these different music NFTs, all these people becomes like Alyssa's shareholder. So think of it as with this social currency, in companies, right? You eyeball this company, you feel that this company has growth potential, you buy its shares now. Then once it really grows, your foresight is right, the share appreciates in value, you sell it or you earn a dividend, then, you gain financially. Just that now, instead of a company, you replace it with an individual. In this case, by being a musician, Alyssa, you feel that she has potential. Okay, this NFT, not only is it my vote of resonance, but it's my vote of confidence in her potential growth. Invest in this NFT, next time she grows big, I don't know, she monetizes her music further, she splits this royalty with you. You earn a passive income from owning this NFT. Okay? Or the NFT appreciates in value, you somehow, for some reason, want it, you sell it away. Okay? Yeah, so that is one way that's going to work. Okay? Likewise for artists, right? Document on social media, draw your style, people love it, they follow you. Okay, same exact blueprint. Build a community, social influence, launch your NFTs, remove the middleman that previously market for you, earn the money directly. Give this community who really believe in you and who really support you, and not that middleman who's just probably there to earn your buck, the money. Okay, they give you money, but you give them financial returns back in the long term. Okay, exactly just like how angel investors invest in a company when they are nothing. Once the company makes it, okay, they benefit the most financially. Okay, just now you place it with NFTs. Yeah. So yeah, creative personalities, entrepreneurs, whatever. Okay, so yeah, social media, build communities, go direct to consumer. Okay, yeah, I have some friends asking me, hey, what's the NFT project they are doing? Like, it's not even art. NFT can do like that, meh? Okay, let me just share a bit about what I'm doing. Okay, just for those who are curious. Another idea. Just sharing as an example. Okay, so what I do is that, because now I'm pretty much a nobody. Okay, hold on, my Zoom thing is blocking. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so this is my NFT. So basically, my idea is that I'm basically a nobody, okay, but I tend to reflect a lot, I tend to think a lot. So every single day, my reflections, okay, I document my key experiences and reflections every single day. I document them into these notepads. So let's say, for example, today, I screwed up somewhere, and because it's my fault, I learned this life lesson. I document it over here. Tomorrow, this thing happened, and it kind of like helped propel my career forward. I document in this NFT. So again, remember the timestamp nature. It's like today, tomorrow, So in the future, if I want to give my great-grandchildren like a blueprint to success, I just tell them, you go read this. This is my storybook. You read from like day one until like day now, when I probably, assuming I make it, then oh wow, this is exactly what great-grandpa went through. Okay, so this is one way. And because it's on the blockchain, people can't meddle with this information. You can't tamper the dates, you can't change the whatever. Okay, so that is yeah, please go ahead, create now. I think you should create a music one. Okay, yeah, I can create a music one. Yeah, so this is what I do for my NFT. So let's say example, okay, using me as an example. Let's say you treat me as a company and you believe that, oh, this JH guy seems like a growth potential. Okay, buy his NFT, whatever amount. I'm not selling it yet, okay? But let's say next time I do, you buy, yeah, because I feel that he'll become like an IPO. Okay, so when you buy this NFT, okay, right now I've put in some benefits, which is that if I ever launch a book out of all this content, you get a royalty off the book sale. Okay, and my current plan is that part of these NFTs, the money raised, I want to set it aside for like a spiritual charity fund. I'm going to call it the Karma Fund. Okay, but this spiritual side is a bit more high level, so I'll explain to you all another day. Okay, but this is my intention. A good part of it will go towards this Karma Fund, and then you'll start rolling. Okay, then the other part is that maybe whatever business I'm working on, okay, I don't know how to structure it, but you can probably have a share in it. Okay, so let's say one of the companies now I'm in, we are going to get listed, okay, in the US. So let's say you own this NFT, okay, you also kind of like micro own part of this share. So, again, imagine the co-creation concept. Let's say those people who buy this business NFT, okay, yeah, you still get the book benefits, but you also get this share of my company, for example. Then I'll create, for example, a Discord group. Okay, all of you are in the Discord group. So remember co-creation. Okay, so everyone discuss now. Okay, all of you own these micro parts of this share. When shall we exit? Okay, then everybody vote. I exit when it's $40. I'll exit when it's $2. I'll exit when it's $20. Okay, so based on majority vote, all right, I will sell the shares at this market price. And every one of you split the returns. Okay, so this is what I This is one of the things that I plan to do with this. Okay, so using myself as a personal example. So for the social media portion, right? Okay, yeah, if you are interested in getting my NFTs, just PM me. Once I launch it, I'll let you know. Okay, end of advertisement. Right. So if you wanna so I lost my train of thoughts in my excitement. Okay, if you wanna kind of like leverage on this whole social media thingy, just take it as documentation. Document your journey. Yeah, you don't have to do it like I do. My style is a boring style. This guy is think too much and then just put his thoughts there. Okay, this is my style of liking it. You might have your own style. Yeah, maybe you like fishing. You just document your fishing stuff. Yeah, it's possible, right? Or you like trading. You document all this trading stuff on social media. You build a community of people who wow, I didn't know Javis does forex trading. He's so good at it. Wow, I started to follow him. Wow, then ask Javis for tips. The next time Javis, those forex people sell courses, right? So instead of you selling a course, sell NFTs. This NFT can come from my course. Okay. Then out of these 10,000 NFTs, 5 of them, right? You got one-on-one personal time with me every single week. I teach you trading. I teach you trading. I guide you through step by step. Okay. Another business idea. All right. So for these 12 friends over here, 11, okay, because you all support me today, right? So if you have an NFT idea, just feel free to come to me. I'm happy to give my brains to you. Okay. Yeah. So this is the social currency aspect. Last one, very fun. Traditional businesses and industries. This is where you apply to every one of y'all. Okay. So again, anything that can be used as a contract, okay, can be replaced by NFTs. So one example is F&B businesses. So for example, this is one of Gary Vee's side businesses. I mean, he's a shareholder of this company. It's called Fly Fish Club. Okay, it's a fine dining seafood kind of restaurant, but the only way that you can, I think the only way that you can get access to this restaurant is you have their NFTs. Okay, so you own this particular fish NFT, you get access to the private dining room or something like that. Okay, you get access to they have an omakase NFT or whatever. Then I don't know, you get like a whatever. Okay, I forgot what's the exact benefit. Okay, but let's say in the traditional F&B context, how can it be incorporated? F&Bs have membership systems, right? So let's say now you can release a one-time only exclusive membership. Okay, 10,000 of them, only 10,000 up for grabs, only one time. Okay, you buy now, right? This NFT, what it will give you, this membership NFT, what it will give you is that maybe every week, every Friday, you come here to eat, you get one main course for free, the rest of your life. Wow, so people buy. Okay, so when people buy your NFT, yeah, I mean, in the long run, okay, you sell one course less every single day, but it's okay because now money up front, you got cash flow. Remember in finance 101, money today is more valuable than money tomorrow. Okay, so using these NFTs, you do your own whatever stuff you want, invest or whatsoever. Okay, then these consumers on the ground, remember we talked about how wealth distribution is created. Okay, actually just now all those examples I mentioned, the singer, the artist, the entrepreneur, like how Gary Vee gives his NFTs, these are also wealth distribution. Previously, there's no way that you get access to what I do as Gary Vee. Now you own a part of this, you're owning a share in me. So whatever I do next time, right, I split a cut with you. Okay, wealth distribution. And then the F&B example, same thing. One day, if every Friday I eat at this restaurant, one fine day I'll definitely get tired. I won't want this membership anymore. Transfer to my friend. Let's say Leon. Hey, Leon, you want or not? Oh yeah, I want. I wanted to buy this exclusive membership last time, but I couldn't get it. Can I buy from you? Okay, can. Leon, I sell you for 1.5 times. Okay, so when transfer hands, the F&B that issued this NFT gets a royalty also. So every time this membership transfer hands, this F&B gets a perpetual royalty. Okay, so it's passive income. So NFT unlocks new wealth distribution, can create passive income for your business. You can involve the consumers in co-creation. It's more fair because these consumers are after all your loyal customer base. Instead of giving it to the big boy that supposedly got the power to help you make it, you share these benefits to the people who really support you. Okay, so that's the consumer behavior I see in NFTs. All right, so that's one way for F&Bs. Real estate ownership, back to the very first example, same thing. You buy a house, instead of you just signing the normal contract that's vet through by one lawyer. Okay, imagine the contract is in the form of an NFT. Whoever owns this NFT is the owner of this house. So you bought this house, you buy this NFT also. Or rather you buy this NFT and it comes with the house. Okay, so whoever owns this NFT, which is you now, you're the verified owner of the house. So now there's even one technology whereby they can scan, you can, just like how I don't know, you scan into some places and then, it verifies your access. They can do that with NFTs now. I think in US or something. They detect that you're the owner of the NFT, the door opens for you. Just like hotel. Okay? How they verify ownership. So now, traditionally, how do people make money from real estate? It's either you rent out, you earn passive income, or the property price appreciates in value, you sell it and then you kill the goose, but you earn a big fat lump sum. But what if now you earn your passive income for 10 years already? You sell up a property, you earn your capital appreciation. And in the future, okay, every time this property transfer hands, aka the NFT also transfer hands, you earn a royalty from it. So that's the third stream of passive income from the property now. And it goes on forever and forever and forever. I mean, assuming blockchain technology is going to be long run. Okay? So again, exact same behavior in the sense that buying property, renting, and then selling. Exact same thing. Nothing new is happening in terms of the consumer behavior, but new wealth is unlocked. Okay? So that's why the world is abundant. As with every new technology, the money from like this now, it will expand to like this. Okay? So it's enough for everyone to be wealthy, right? And lastly, tickets. For example, movie tickets. Let's say, you watch Spider-Man 3. Is it Spider-Man 3? No, Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Instead of issuing that piece of paper, not planet-friendly somehow, issue an NFT. Okay, we remove the fact that NFTs are the planet conservation thing about NFTs, okay? That aside, issue the NFT ticket. Let's say last minute you cannot make it for the movie. Wow, xiao liao. Never mind, transfer to your friend. In the current movie world, you sell your ticket to the friend second hand. Maybe you can't even sell. That's number one. Number two, even if you can sell, it's black market. The guy who issued the tickets don't earn anything. Now, because of NFTs, you can sell anytime you want. Okay? And if you sell for a higher price, this movie guy doesn't care because each time the ticket transfer hands, I earn a royalty. More than happy to. If it's J. Cho concert ticket, he launched his tickets as NFTs. Okay, amongst these 100,000 NFTs, maybe 5 of them, right, you get to share the stage with me and take selfie with me, for example. Okay, so all these things can be coded in. So think of NFTs as like, because the thing is a smart contract, you see. In the smart contract, you can add any terms that you like, any single term. Okay? But of course, the disclaimer is that when these things involves money, let's say the part about the royalty, you get a share in me, that kind of thing, in the future, the regulation will definitely come in one fine day into NFT land. So that's why we have to keep a lookout. What's the regulation like? This thing that I'm doing, can or not, that kind of thing. But there's always ways to go about it and make it legal. Most important thing is that, of course, the technology is not illegal. Doing this is not illegal. It's just that you might have to do things a certain way to comply by the then regulations. Okay, but as long as you are not out there to cheat people's money, you're out there to do like legitimate stuff, then good enough. Okay, you don't have to worry.